Look who's back. That's right. Amadeus is back. He took a jet home last night with his winnings from Vegas, and we're glad to have you back, Amadeus. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah. It was some wild flights, but it's a great time in Vegas. Can't complain. So, oh yeah, it's good to be back though.
No, good to have you, and I'm sure you had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely a good time.
Now you were telling me before we got on that you had Fairleigh Dickinson, so you were a sage in that one.
Yeah, really, it was one of my buddies, Joey Tron. Yeah, he's in the Insiders Room Discord with us, but he was all over this Fair Dick team. He had a $15 bet on them to go to the Elite Eight. Would have paid out $25,000. Obviously, they didn't make it there, but yeah, he told me, just put a little piece on the money line against Purdue. I was on them personally against Texas Southern. I thought they were the better team, so that was actually one of the first March Madness bets I placed in Vegas was on Fair Dick in that first 4 games. So yeah.
Hey, it's been fun. It's been a fun tournament.
Yeah, a lot of upsets.
A lot of upsets and a lot of which goes to say something we all talked about last week before the tournament got started, and that is how the parity hit in college basketball.
Yeah, definitely. Like, look. If you look now, there's quite a bit of conference representation still, right? Oh, yeah. Obviously, the SEC has 3 teams, and the Big East has 3 teams. But you still got a Big 10 team in there. The Big 12 has 2. Then you got the Conference USA with FAU there. You got obviously the Mountain West with San Diego State, the Pac-12. So a lot of conference representation. Gonzaga with the WCC.
Mm-hmm. That game, Gonzaga and UCLA, that's going to be brutal.
It's going to be an interesting one. I almost think I didn't love the way UCLA played, and maybe this is Gonzaga's year with all the upsets. They're finally not a number 1 seed. They got no pressure on their back, so maybe this is the year they finally make that run they were supposed to make.
It's been a while. The thing with UCLA is they've got their bigs are banged up, so they need guard play, and they've gotten the guard play. But how far can you push that, right?
Well, speaking of guard play, how about that Miami team that shouldn't be winning the ACC? All of a sudden, they look dangerous.
Yeah, they Jim Larrañaga, who is their coach. Many might remember him from his days, across the Potomac when he was George Mason's coach, and he took that George Mason team that wasn't supposed to do anything to a Final Four, and Larrañaga is a very good inspirational kind of guy and kind of coach. So he gets more out of less, I guess would be the best way of putting it, than I've ever seen. He's a good recruiter, but he recruits. There are not going to be a lot of 5-star recruits on Larrañaga's team. That's just not it. Larrañaga is a guy who wants guys who want to play for 3 or 4 years together. And usually that's what happens for him. Now, this is probably the best Miami team he's ever had. And the way they've been playing, they might beat the Heat. I'm not sure about that, but they definitely have had some serious good. So yeah, you're right. And the guard play of Miami, and those guys just blitz the 3. It's like, they just come down, take the open shot, boom, it's done.
And their defense, like I was on Drake in that first game, and it was looking so good with like 3 minutes to go. Drake was up by like 7 or 9, and Miami, they just got so aggressive. They wouldn't even let Drake inbound the ball. They were draped over every player, and that right away I knew my bet was in trouble when I saw that. And what did we talk about before the tournament? Defense wins championships.
Yeah. And who else has got defense and athletic? My goodness, I gotta say that my God, they are athletic. I mean, those boys are, you know, they just never stop. They just keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. So, they're a team to be watched.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So yeah, guard play, defense, and you know what? A lot of people don't understand um, about defense in basketball, right? They'll come down. You get guys who run you all over the court. Okay, so you're coming down the stretch, right? And guys are getting open shots and they're missing them, and you're like, "Wow, man, he missed an open shot." Well, a lot of that has to do with they've been running so much, they don't have legs. So when you're going to take that open shot, you'll see the teams that play good defense basically take them. Go ahead, take the open three because they know it's going to have to be all arms because they don't have any legs left. And if you can't push off to get that jump shot, you're flat footing a 3-point shot. Chances are you're not going to make that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a subtle thing that you watch for in defense. And the good teams, you'll see they'll collapse a little bit. They'll give him some space. They don't want to foul him. They'll say, "Go ahead, take the shot. If he hits it, good on you." But most of the time, he's not going. And Xavier was playing that way. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of San Diego State. They're another team. A lot of athletic, players on their team. They can get up, they can get down. I think we've got probably a very entertaining Sweet 16.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be, it's definitely going to be interesting.
And from a better standpoint, we looked at it yesterday. I don't think there's a dead pipe lock in any of them. I mean, there's ones that you'll sit there and go, okay, I can see where this guy, yeah, definitely 100%. They're the better team, but we've already seen the better teams, are back watching it on television, where they should have been, moving on.
Yeah, and if you look a lot of these lines, even Vegas thinks close because Michigan State and Kansas State, that's only a 2-point for Michigan State. Arkansas, UConn, that's 3.5 for UConn. UCLA, Gonzaga, that's another 2 for UCLA. Even look at this, FAU and Tennessee, 5.5.
FAU played, I thought that they played a solid game, but they were able to go inside because they've got some good big guys in front, and they basically won that game against Fairleigh Dickinson. The problem is when you win that game against Fairleigh Dickinson, and Fairleigh Dickinson we already established was the smallest team in the tournament at 6'3", and you got a couple 7 guys. Now Purdue is stupid. Okay, they didn't know how to keep it, but at least FAU was smart enough to keep the ball above 6'3", and keep it high. I don't know what to make of the FAU team, I guess is the way I'm trying to inarticulately say it. But yeah, I don't know what to make of that team.
Yeah, I agree because you look at them like they had such a great season, 32-3 or something like that. But you play in the Conference USA.
Yeah,
your competition isn't great,
and
again, you kind of got a bit of a ride because you got to. So Memphis was probably a tougher game for them. They really had to dig in deep to win that one late. Then you got a bit of a breeze with Verdict in the next round,
right?
And so now you have them going up against a Tennessee team that just bullied Duke off the court completely. Right. Like it wasn't even close. So it's going to be interesting though, because both are more, I guess, bigger, more physical teams. So the refs probably going to have to let them play just like they did in the Tennessee Duke, but Tennessee might not be able to bully them around the same way they were bullying around the freshmen of Duke.
That's a good point. And the other thing that would concern me from a Tennessee standpoint is I think that the when you're playing with house money, right? As FAU is, because nobody thinks they're going to win. Um, you've got nothing to lose, and so you're looser. Tennessee, they're gonna. There's a lot of responsibility on their backs.
Yeah.
To me, the team, and I have Alabama's physically probably the best basketball team in the country.
I've heard a lot of that. Alabama. A lot of people think Alabama wins the tournament.
What happens? I mean, you don't know, and because Alabama's had some schizophrenic, moments in the season. So, can they make it? They still have to win 4 games.
Yeah,
and that's we'll see. We'll definitely see, but that's going to be a crazy situation. We just talked a little bit prior to coming on about World Baseball Classic, where Japan bested the Mexico team, and now it'll be it'll be Japan and the USA in the World Baseball Classic. And then you and I can get down to actually talking real baseball, not this interesting but not real baseball.
yeah.
Where the guys who will be playing for teams that they actually have contracts with, and typical Mets thing. They don't have their reliever anymore. They're closer from that celebration.
They lost. Yeah. They lost.
It's a very Mets thing to happen. It's like, yay, we won. Oh, we lost. And I don't mean to make light of it, because I mean, the kid is a hell of a player, and he pitched. He was lights out last year, and they hate to see anybody get hurt.
His walkout song just completely blew up.
Oh yeah, how about
every stadium?
The guy comes and plays the trumpet live. It's like, whoa, this is not normal. It's kind of like Major League, right? Where Charlie Sheen comes out and the whole thing happens. It's like, wow, this is amazing. But it's crazy. But it is, the good news is we're having fun with it. Now, soccer-wise, is there anything today that catches your eye?
No, so there's nothing really today, yesterday, tomorrow, because we're hitting an international break. There's going to be a ton on Thursday, though. It's all
they loaded it up.
Yeah, so the Euro qualifiers for 2020 was 2024, I guess. Yeah.
So yeah. Go ahead. Who's anything there? Any first round situations that you're looking at going,
Yeah, so I find it a little interesting. Let me just pull up the soccer card here. I find it very interesting that Slovenia is a favorite on the road in Kazakhstan. I don't think Kazakhstan's a better team. Slovenia is the better team, but they're not the kind of team that's going to go on the road and win that. I was actually looking at maybe a draw. You get it at plus 230. And Kazakhstan, that's the thing, right? They play a lot better at home, and even though they don't win a ton of games, they draw a lot of games at home. They don't lose a lot. And Slovenia is the kind of team where they could probably get a draw here. I don't think they're good enough to go into Kazakhstan and win it, but I don't think they lose it either.
So something to look forward to there.
Yeah, I was looking at a draw. That one's the first one, 11 a.m. on Thursday, and then the rest are at 3:45. Obviously, it's because Kazakhstan is more closer to Asia geographically. So
right,
got to play that one a little earlier. But then there's like some of these, like Denmark was a minus 300 the other day against Finland. Now they're minus 334. So you got to take them minus 1.5 to win by 2. Christian Eriksen is still going to be out. I don't know about this Denmark team. I mean, Finland's not bad. They're not a terrible team. So even if Denmark wins, they're banged up. I could see it being more of a 1-goal win if they win. I definitely wouldn't want to lay the 1.5 or the minus 300 with them. It's an iffier one for sure.
Well, I mean, Denmark, Denmark's been schizophrenic as well over the past few cycles. You know, there've been situations where they look good, and then there's situations where they look like, what the heck did where did this come from?
Yeah, they had a scoring problem in the World Cup, and the thing with this Finland team is they're really good at home, but they're not good on the road. So when they go and play these road games, they really they rock the 5 defender back line and the 4 midfielders, just leaving Timu Pukki by himself up striking. But that's what I mean is like they're really stacking the box. They're putting 10 behind the ball, basically 11 behind the ball sometimes, and they're just saying try and break us down, right?
Just waving, so go ahead.
Yeah, try and score. We know we're not going to win this on the road, but you're not going to win it
either. Yeah,
exactly, right. And sometimes that's a strategy in these road games that these countries they know. You know, when you're going up against a stronger team, if you can come away with a point, it means everything because then
like getaway.
You're going to see them again at home and have a better chance, and you're going to have more confidence knowing we got a point from these guys on the road last time.
One, yeah,
exactly, right. But I think the big game tomorrow is obviously Italy versus England, and I just want to say,
happen.
I just want to say it's amazing how Italy and England are in the same group. Italy kicked them out of the Euro Cup. Okay, the last Euro Cup. Then Italy kicked them out of Nations League, Group A, basically. And you know who else is in that group?
Who's that?
North Macedonia, the team that kept Italy out of the last World Cup. So I find the group very interesting how the draw ended up like that. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's very interesting how that draw.
Like every time there's a major thing comes down the pike that has, Italy and England ends up being the first one off the docket.
Yeah, something doesn't smell right, Jim.
Something's going on here.
That's just too much where England got kicked out by Italy twice in the last 2 years, and then Italy missed the World Cup because North Macedonia beat them at home. Beat them in Italy. So just an interesting group. Interesting how we get those 3 teams in the same group.
Always.
Very interesting. But that one's even the books don't know. England's a slight favorite, but Rashford just picked up an injury. Yeah. So he's not in the squad. I think who is it? Jack Grealish pulled out of the squad or one of them. So Mike got to lean with my Italy here. They have a very good record against England. If you go back to 1980, England has I think maybe beaten them once. Italy's beaten them 6 times.
Yeah, they haven't exactly owned, the English. The English team doesn't know how to play the Italian team for some reason.
It's because we just play defense.
That's probably it.
And then we lull them to sleep after 70 minutes, and you catch them off guard in the last 20, and you end up winning a 1-0 game.
Right? You go,
They're like, now we got you. You lost your focus for 5 minutes.
Just when you thought you had to, this figured out. I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's one, I could see Italy winning if you want to take the chance on them. I could even see that one being an under. It's going to be a low-scoring one for sure.
Well, they used to be a lot of, 1-0, nothing draws. I mean, a lot of just play keep away like we were just talking about. But more recently, Italy has beaten them, and has scored on them.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those where, they get up for England. It's one of those teams that they have this fire when they play them. I don't know why.
I don't know. I think there's the English and the Italians have this thing. I don't know what it is. England normally, does not like and does not get along well with the French. But for some reason, when it comes to the Italians, there's also kind of a vibe there that, they're just not on the same page.
Yeah.
What?
I totally agree with that. And so it's one of those games where I could see it being an under. It could be a 0-0 type game because, like I said, Italy will lull you to sleep with that defense. But I think this is one they're going to be focused on after missing the World Cup. They're definitely going to make sure they get out to a good start in the Europa League qualifiers, I would think.
Who's coaching them this time around?
Actually, you know what? I'm not 100% sure. I can find out right now.
I shouldn't have asked the question.
Yeah, no. I'll find out. I can find out right now. It's just I don't follow the coach because it's always the same crap. They play that defensive style.
It doesn't matter who it is; they're gonna play the same way.
It's still Roberto Mancini. That's
okay. It's the same guy that didn't get them to the World Cup.
It's the same guy as always. Who he's been coaching the team for a while.
Who doesn't love him, man?
Yeah, he's been the coach for a long while now. Actually,
for more than a minute. Yeah, he's been there.
But he he was a forward too. I'm surprised he's always about that defense. But he's starting to let the young guys play more, and I think that's important for Italy. There's a lot of good players on this team that I've been watching around the league. Like Inter Milan has this young kid, younger than me, DeMarco. He's phenomenal. Obviously, they got Immobile on Lazio. He's their main guy. I don't know if Insigne is going to play on the team. I would think so, right? But I don't know what his injury status is with Toronto FC if he's playing. But if he is, I would definitely think he's probably went to play with the team during this. He's a big part of that team as well. And they got the West Ham kids, Scamacca, Raspadori. They got a lot of good players on this Italian team. I think maybe they missed the World Cup because they're still young. Yeah. But this team's going to grow together, and I think Italy might be a team to watch in the coming years.
And there's something about this tournament that there's more of a rivalry, more of a fire situation that gets the crowd going. And maybe that's something that will play to their strength too.
Yeah, and definitely.
They can run England all over the building. So that might also be something good.
And that's the thing. They're going to have the fire because they're pissed off they missed the World Cup. But at the same time, you're the defending champion of the Euro Cup. So
yeah, it's like, okay, we won the one that you don't get the cup for. But we didn't get there. But I think it's one of those things where you're sitting there going, that everybody expects, you to do it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, definitely. So
in this case, I think it is going to work.
Yeah, I think it's one, like I said, like they're the defending champions. They're going to have that in the back of their minds that they need to defend their title. But at the same time, they missed the last major competition. That's really what's going to be weighing over there.
That's another point. Yeah.
Head. They missed the World Cup, and that was big because that's pathetic. Italy is second for most World Cups ever behind Brazil. They have one less. They've won 4. Brazil's got 5. So it's not like Italy's no joke. They're one of the best history teams in the world, and that was straight up pathetic. I'll call it how I see it with my Italians. It was pathetic to miss the World Cup. So that cannot happen here.
And, whenever you got that opportunity, history has proven that, as you say, Italy is pretty much an automatic.
Yeah. And it only happens once every 4 years. So, you got to take advantage.
Got to roll with it. Otherwise, we got problems, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think they're definitely gonna be there. Let's downshift here for a second. We talked about college basketball. We talked a little bit of the World Baseball Classic. I don't know if you've focused any at all on spring training, but has there been anything? There hasn't been a lot of news out of spring training about anything. So it looks like everybody's kind of cruising without any probable. Obviously we talked about the injury, in the Mets situation, but I haven't heard a lot of bad news or good news out of spring training. Just kind of like nothing to see here type thing.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with a lot of these players that went to go play in the World baseball classic, like these teams aren't
Mhm.
fully complete yet. So
Right.
it's hard for these teams to even start ramping up in spring training when they know, half these guys that are here with us aren't even going to be on the team at the
Right.
beginning of the season. We're waiting for the real guys to come back from this tournament. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where you don't hear much because I really don't think the teams are doing much to ramp up and get ready for the season until they're fully back and everybody's playing again as a team.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the other thing too is that with these guys who come back to camp, right? Um, the good news is they will have faced game, game action. So that'll help. Bad news is most of the pitching hasn't been that great. So that might they may have to take a little time to get used to the hitting again.
But it seems like a lot of the good pitchers just opted out just because I guess they didn't want to put more stress on the arm before the
Yeah.
season
No,
started than needed.
well, yeah, because if you think about it, right, you're pitching at a high level in the World Baseball Classic a full month before the season starts. So you're going to take a month off of your arm when you get to the season.
Yeah.
So, I would agree. I think that one of the things that they've tried to do is not pitch some of these stars more than a couple, 2-3 innings. You're not going to see in the World Baseball Classic final Ohtani pitch 7 innings. It's just not going to happen.
Perfect game, all 9
Right.
innings, and be batting too.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's not going to happen. They're not going to let it go. And I wouldn't. I don't blame them. I mean, there's a season to be played. You win that championship, that's nice. But especially in the Angels' case, you definitely don't want to have that problem.
Yeah.
So
well, their two stars are going to be facing off against each other.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I mean, just don't hit them. It's like, you don't want that. Just stay where you are. I just was gonna take a look real quick at the standings, which mean nothing in spring. But you got the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Braves, the Phillies, the Rays, the Jays, and Washington are above 500. Everybody else, not so much. So now looking at the numbers, there's not a lot of numbers there that pop out, and jump at you from the spring training situation. And I'm just looking at some of the headlines. A lot of Tawny versus Trout, a classic matchup for the world to see. Well, okay. What Otani's gonna pitch to him. Of course, he might hit him by accident or walk him. So maybe he won't pitch to him. That'd be great if he just gave him the old free pass.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take first base. I think. We'll go. But no, it's pretty cool. So when you were in Vegas, what are some of the things that you? That was your first time, right, to Vegas?
Yes.
What are some of your first time observations of the trip?
There's a lot more kids than I thought were going to be there. That's for sure.
Well, it's a different Vegas now.
It is different Vegas. Saw a lot of young kids, we're talking 12 and under, and I'm like, not the best place for your 12-year-old to go in the casino where they let you just smoke out in the open. So
yeah, and it's like they can't play anything in the casino, but they're there.
Yeah, that's the other thing I didn't understand, right? So
well, it's also kind of depressing. You're like, okay, you brought the kids to Vegas, do something. It's like we you don't want to be around a bunch of kids whenever when you've gone to Vegas to have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. I even waited to go because my girlfriend just turned 21, so we knew it
Oh,
wasn't going to be good if she just wasn't 21 when we went.
no, that would not be as much fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure she had a nice time as well.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We
It was
walked a lot of the stuff, right? The Bellagio, the Caesar's Palace, a lot of nice artwork and things like that. Is very, very nice to look at structurally. So,
well, yeah, it's got a lot of the. I mean, it's Vegas. I mean, it's everything is over the top.
oh yeah,
You know, you expect it. I mean, you drive down the street and there's the Eiffel Tower. Uh,
literally.
you're sitting there, how nice. Where did that come from? But yeah, I mean, it's a fun thing, and it's also you really get a bit of a gambling vibe when you get there
Oh yeah, definitely.
because I mean, there aren't that many places. Well, there might be now. I was going to say there aren't that many places with slot machines in the airport, but
No, there are. The first thing you see when you when you come out of the airport are the slot machines. That's what I was gonna touch on too.
yeah. But I was going to say with gambling in so many states, I'm wondering that you may see slot machines in airports all around the country.
Yeah,
Um,
they might start doing that, but that was definitely a first for me. Literally, the first thing you come out of the plane, and it's right there, just
yeah,
slots. And as you're walking through the airport, there's like different areas too.
yeah. I know that uh, I was there a couple of times when you're sitting there going, okay. Remind me again that people are letting the bags are going around the turnstile, right?
Yeah,
Nobody's getting them because they're standing there playing the slot machines. And you're like, hey, get your luggage before you start playing the slot machines.
yeah. And honestly,
It's just totally,
wait till you actually get out of the airport, get to
yeah,
a real casino to play the
great.
slots.
It's like give me do something. Go play slots at a place where you're gonna where you got a chance to win.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. To be honest with you, I was never much of a slot machine player.
Yeah, I'm not a slot person or a table game really. Like the only table game I play is roulette, and it's not even really a table game. If you even want to call it a table game, it's not really like a card game or anything like that. It's just pure luck, really.
Well, I mean, you're right. It's not something that you get a lot of. That it takes a lot of skill to play. It is a game of chance, and there. I mean, I table games. I like to play blackjack. That's fun. But with regard to anything else, um, I've tried craps. I mean, dice on the table there. I'm horrible at it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I still can't figure it out. And yeah, I've done some of the roulette situations, and most of the time I just put something on black or red. I don't even try to put a number
Yeah, that's the way I roll.
because it never seems to work out for me in that.
No, numbers are too hard. Just you're better off with just red or black, or maybe odds or even.
Yeah,
You have,
that's not a bad one either.
you have the best. You have the same chance really of odds or even. So
Yeah. So anyway, so it's good to. I'm glad that you had the opportunity to go and enjoy yourself and have some fun times there.
yeah, definitely.
And you know, you'll now know where to go when you go back, right?
Exactly right. Definitely, I know how to do it next time for sure.
You've been there, you've done that, and now you know.
Exactly.
So that's good, cool. So anyway, that was your trip to Vegas, and now we know. And now we know you had a good time, and now you know what the good places to eat, the good places to get the deals.
Yep.
You know where Allie is, and Lenny and the whole gang.
Yep.
So that's all fun and good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's been while you were gone, not much happened. We did have a guy who was very interesting. He was talking about betting in-game basketball, college basketball, and he was talking about teams that are on runs, And so he watches it kind of like the stock market. And he's like, okay, when this team starts that way, he'll go. And we actually watched a game, and we were watching it while he was talking. And a team went from a plus 350 to a minus 275, in literally 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And, you're sitting there going, do I really want to play this? I mean, he had it. He had a system that worked for him. But I'm thinking to myself, when you've got fluctuations of that much in 25 seconds, how do you do that for 2 hours?
Yeah, well, it's all about really catching the line at the right time, right? So
Yeah, sure.
if you wait to live bet a game, and let's say a team comes out, starts the game 10-2, and you take the dog at plus 300, plus 400 or something, and so then if they come back and they start to take a lead and the other team goes down, right? Because these are the runs, obviously, that he's talking about. And you can get the other team at plus 400. And now you're sitting where you got a ticket at both plus 400. And you're going to make money either way, because even one of them has to win. There's no ties in basketball.
Right.
And either way, even like if you put 100 on each at the plus 400, you're still coming away with at least $200 profit there. So yeah, I can definitely 100%. I can see how that works. And like I always say, and that's the best way to bet NBA, because you see a team down by 20 in the first half, you might as well just hammer it, because a lot of the time they come back. Great example. I was on the Grizzlies last night. They were losing 96-80 going into the fourth quarter. They won the game by 4.
What have we said from the first time we've done this show together? God, NBA basketball, the last 5 minutes is all you need.
Yeah, just the fourth quarter. And that's what I mean. If you just watched the fourth quarter, you would have been like, oh, man, the Grizzlies are down by 16, and you would have saw a hell of a game. Right. Because all of a sudden, it's like, oh, my God, they're winning with 4 minutes to go. What the hell happened here?
Right. How did that happen? It's, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's why, I hate the NBA, but at the same time, I like it in that sense, because, if you bet the Grizzlies money line, you come back.
Well, a buddy of mine is the director, directs the Grizzlies basketball games. And he tells me that, he goes, they're very fun to watch. And I said, he goes, but just like everything else, the last 5 minutes, they're always fun to watch the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After that, not so much. But, and they've had, the Grizzlies had their share of off-campus problems. And you wonder what's going to happen there. I saw a thing where it looks like Michael Jordan's looking to sell the Charlotte team.
I saw that.
Which it's like, okay, it's a good thing, if that's what you want. Now they've had 2 teams in Charlotte. They had the team that moved to New Orleans, and they now they have the Hornets back again. So I don't know. We'll see how people hang with it. But there was something that came across. Let me look real quick about Lamar Jackson. I think about I think it's about who was it that said that Lamar Jackson, a representative for Lamar Jackson that is not certified by the NFLPA, is with one team they're trying to get a deal. The Ravens have talked to the Falcons and the Patriots about Lamar Jackson. I saw the Patriots thing. I didn't. Lamar is ready to move on from the Ravens. I'm sure they're ready to let him move with it. This thing de-escalated fast. I mean, he was last year, couldn't be, I want to be, here forever. Well, forever changes pretty quick, and you got
see eye to eye on the contract and
right,
changes everything.
You got Pat McAfee talking uh, to Aaron Rodgers, who said, hopefully we'll be able to get to New York soon. I'm like, dude, you still in Green Bay. Perhaps you forgot that you still have a contract there.
Well, I mean, the Jets just, they just snapped up half the Green Bay offense. So
they might as well take the ringleader with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are two guys, Lamar Jackson and and Aaron Rodgers, who are, they won MVPs. They just haven't won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So, Aaron's won what, one?
Yeah, I think just the one.
And Lamar hasn't. So, we'll see what we got. Let me see what we got in our questions. We have questions here, and I've been lax. What are you saying? I don't know. Ron 9. What do you got, buddy? You got something? You got a question for us?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Yeah. You got a yo and you got a. What'd you say?
What do you want to know? You want some plays for tonight?
You want some advice?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you got? We got some I guess we do have some college basketball tonight. There's the
the NIT.
Yeah, and the CBI I guess has some games too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
the women are basically again chalk on the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, chalk.
I gotta say, I watched my University of South Florida women play against South Carolina, and first half they were ahead for a few minutes, and it was close, and then the second half happened, and I mean, South Carolina came out in the second half, and it was like, forget it. I don't think South Florida scored 12 points in the second half. I mean, it was like, oh, it's brutal. That South Carolina team is just, they toy with you for a half, and then they put the pedal down and go, well, okay, here we go, and away it's gone. I think, what was it? There was one team out there that lost that was pretty good, but not many. They've been pretty solid all the way through. So
yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it's not something you have to worry about. So now, it's 2 weeks before we get back to the normal schedule on soccer?
Yeah, so I guess Thursday is when the international starts. There's gonna be tons of games every day up until probably, I think April 1st is when the regular leagues come back. So
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, maybe they won't come back that day.
We're just fooling with you. Have you looked at the Premier League table?
Yeah. Arsenal still going strong.
Sean and I were talking yesterday. Who do you like for the top four, the finishing four?
The top four?
Top four. Yeah.
Well, I've been saying it all year. I think Arsenal's going to keep their number one spot. I think they really are the best team in the Premier League. I think Man City keeps the second place spot. I think Man United keeps the third place spot. And honestly, I think, let me just look at it here. Let me just do some quick math in my head. But I'm thinking I still like Brighton to overtake Liverpool, Newcastle, and Tottenham. I think Brighton's going to be number 4 in there.
I'm with you on that. I like that.
Yeah, they got 3 games on Tottenham.
Yeah.
Liverpool can only win at home, so they got a chance.
They got a brutal schedule down the stretch, but
yeah, right now they're tied with Liverpool, but they got a game in hand. They got a game in hand of Newcastle, so I think Brighton has a chance.
Yeah, they have. Let's see. Brentford is their first game back, and then they play Tottenham, and then they play Bournemouth, and then they play Chelsea. So that's their first 4 games back.
I think Brentford at home and Bournemouth on the road, those are winnable matches for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tottenham might be a little more tricky because they're on the road there, but I think they can definitely come away with a point. Tottenham hasn't been. They just tied Southampton 3-3 on the road. Like this is not a team. Sean keeps talking about. Conte is not going to be there at the end of the year, so it's not a good Tottenham. They're not having a good year, and that's why I kind of think that's going to be probably a very important game because Brighton's got 3 games in hand of Tottenham, so that could really see them shoot up. Chelsea, they're starting to get that offensive explosion, but still they tied with Everton, so they're not all the way there. That could be a very tough game for them. That's Potter against his old team. Now he's gonna know how to plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that's one. Again, they could come away with a draw. Then they have the FA Cup final. I see there again, or the semifinals against Man United. But that might not be. At that point, if they have a chance to get into Champions League, they could very well. Throw that game away. I'm sure they won't. They'll probably be focused on it. But the next day after, they were supposed to play Man City, so that one's going to get moved. But Man City at home, if Man City is still deep into Champions League and they get caught in a sandwich game there.
Really fascinating. I was just seeing they're owned by Tony Bloom. And Tony Bloom is an English bettor and poker player, an entrepreneur. So they're owned by a guy who made his money as a gambler. How about that?
Yeah, that's
a pretty cool pretty cool thing. I guess he doesn't have any problem with betting on his own team. But yeah.
Going back to this Brighton team, their last 6 games of the season: Nottingham Forest, the Wolves, Everton, Arsenal, Southampton, Aston Villa. They could win 5 of those.
Well, if they do that, then they're in the Champions League, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be a big motivation. Their coach left them to go coach Chelsea halfway through the season. They want to prove, should have just stayed with us.
Yeah.
Now you're in a disaster.
You're not going in. We are.
Exactly. Right. So
they really have a very cool stadium. It's a 31,000 seat, about a 32,000 seat stadium. The American Express Community Stadium.
Mm.
So, don't leave home without it. The card itself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's they should be fun to watch. Absolutely. All right, so that's we know who's gonna go to the 4. Now who's gonna get
Sorry?
The relegation?
Oh, the relegation. Yeah. That's an even tougher one just because there's a lot of teams pretty much tied. Like Southampton in last has 23 points. Crystal Palace in 12th has 27 points. So any one of those teams,
a win away from, and a loss away from.
Yeah. And then Aston Villa in 11th has 38. So there's a clear, 11-point
separation there
between pretty much the bottom half of the table. We'll throw Aston Villa in the top there.
Wolves, Leeds United, Everton, North Forest, Leicester City, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Southampton.
Yeah, West Ham's a team, I think, just looking at the roster, they're too good to be down there. If they don't get out, that's going to be bad. I think they're a team, though. I think they can win enough games near the end of the season to pull themselves out of there. Southampton and Bournemouth, I think, are probably the weakest teams in the league. I think they stay down there. Honestly, for me, it's going to be probably between I would say Leeds, Everton, Forest, and Leicester. I think any one of those four. Now, Leicester hasn't been great lately, but they're a weird team. They go through they lose 5 and then all of a sudden they get hot. So they could get hot down the stretch. Nottingham Forest seems to have just fallen apart. Now they were playing good defense for a while, and now they're just falling apart. And Leeds is kind of just like a team overall. I think they're just slipping. They can't seem to win the games they need to win at home. They're not good on the road. I think Leeds is a team that's really in trouble.
Yeah, I think that man, you don't want to see any. Once it's done, right?
Yeah, and then obviously we know in Everton, they're just a disaster. But
we'll see what we can see, right?
Yeah. See, the thing is, if you look at the wins, out of those 4, Leicester has 1 more win. So, they seem to be, less erratic with their games. All the other teams have 6 wins; they have 7. So it's not great, but then they have 16 losses. They have a lot more losses than the other ones. So they're a very polarizing team. They don't draw a lot. They straight up either just win or lose. And sometimes that could be an issue because, a team that loses less games but draws 10 has the better chance. They're going to have the points to get out of it. So,
well, we'll definitely see. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It is going to be a fascinating situation. For sure. Coming soon to a place near us, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so you're saying some of the bottom people who are at the absolute bottom right now aren't necessarily going to get relegated.
No, I think the 2 at the bottom, Bournemouth and Southampton, I think they'll probably get relegated. But West Ham, who's in the last relegation spot, the 18th, I think they can probably get out of it. They're too good. Their roster is too good to be where they are, obviously. And the way they perform in the Conference League, too, they're going to go and win that most likely. So it's one of those things where I think maybe they smarten up in the last few games. They know we need this many points to get out of there.
Mike, we appreciate you dropping by, buddy. We're relatively new. We've been here for a while. You have any questions for us? We're more than happy to answer them or try. We deal with soccer mainly, but if you have any other questions, we can try to field them for you. But we like the fact that you are with us. We're here every day at 2 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard, and always having some fun here. So, you got a question for us? Be more than happy to try to answer it. So, we'll go from there. We were talking about relegation. It's the women's soccer starts here pretty soon. Their league begins here in the United States in next week, I think. So there's that going on. USL has started, and they got off to a pretty good start. It's funny, they're getting some pretty good crowds for USL. They're drawing, 8, 10, 11, 12,000 people.
Yeah, that's good. The sport is growing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where most of the clubs who are in the MLS, came from. Is they did their time in the USL, and now they're done. I mean, Toronto and Montreal and a bunch of them were at one point in USL.
Yeah,
and then there was the NASL, the comeback version of the NASL, which went totally out of business. We got USFL football coming back soon.
Yeah, when the XFL ends or whatever.
What?
When the XFL ends, pretty much.
That would probably be the wise thing. Let them get out of the way, and then you can come back. You don't need two competing springs football leagues.
Yeah. Well, that's why it was kind of strategic how they start in April.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when the XFL ends though.
I can find that out. You can
Yeah.
do the research department here.
Is that something that like are the finals before the USL starts or the USFL? Because that would have been smart, but it's going to carry in then. Not the greatest planning.
They've been known. They've not necessarily been known for their brilliant planning in the past.
Oh yeah.
The XFL ends on April 23rd with the championship game.
So like a month, almost a month into the USFL start.
Yeah, and then the USFL just for those of you who need to know. USFL begins their season on April 15th, but they finish on July 2nd. So there is
they start April 15th. Okay.
So there's a 1 week overlap.
Yeah, so basically the first week of the USFL is their final.
The last week of the XFL.
Yeah, okay. So then that's not too bad, actually, because then people get right into it. They're like, oh, USFL is in the second week. What happened in the first week? Let me go bet this. You know what? It's almost actually a little bit strategic because nobody wants to watch the first week. Let's be real.
Right.
First week's always garbage.
Yeah. Sometimes the second week is garbage.
Yeah, that too. But you got to see how these teams. I like to see how the teams come out and play because you can do all the research you want in the off season, and then a team like everyone was on the Jaguars the 1 year, and then the team comes out like crap.
Yeah.
You really don't know until you see them come on the field and put things together.
Well, and then they were all last year in Birmingham, and they're all staying in the same place.
Yeah.
So you're like,
And Birmingham won, didn't they?
They did, of course.
Every game for them was like the stadium was filled, and other games there was like nobody.
Right. They couldn't give tickets away. Yeah, that's usually how it works.
But now there's 4, I think, right? 4 cities they're doing it in.
I'll check real quick. How many cities? It was kind of funny because you had a team for a bunch of cities, and it's like, yeah, root for them, buy the merch, and like they're not even here.
Seriously, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna fly to Birmingham to watch a USFL game with my the host cities. According to our friends at Fox Sports, Birmingham, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee. Birmingham is going to be the home to the Birmingham Stallions and the New Orleans Breakers. Memphis is going to be home to the Memphis Showboats and the Houston Gamblers. Detroit, Michigan is going to be the home of the Michigan Panthers and the Philadelphia Stars, while Canton, Ohio will host the New Jersey Generals and the Pittsburgh Maulers.
Yeah, so.
Which is, okay, so
better.
Canton, Ohio, which is about 120 miles from Pittsburgh, is going to host 2 teams that don't even live in the state. Wait, Memphis is hosting Memphis.
Yeah, the other 3.
Birmingham's got Birmingham. Detroit's got Michigan. Canton's got 2 teams.
What were their teams again?
Which ones?
Canton.
Oh, Canton has New Jersey and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I guess they tried to put it. I don't know, but like,
it's not even close to either one of them.
I know.
Yes, it's 123 miles from Pittsburgh, and God knows how long it is from Jersey. My God, it's like 400 miles.
Yeah, you should have put it in one of those cities, you would think.
Well, I mean, all right, fine. You don't want to put it in Pittsburgh, okay? You could probably made a deal and played, in like there's a bunch of colleges in the center of the state of Pennsylvania.
How far is Pittsburgh and Philly from each other?
Oh man, they're across the state from each other.
Yeah, okay, so they're opposite ends,
about
right?
300 miles.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Cool. I know. I should ask my brother. He made that trip a lot.
Oh wow.
My mom used to live in Pittsburgh, and now she lives in the Allentown area, which is north of Philly and just east of New York City.
Yeah.
So it's distance between Philly and Pittsburgh is 304 miles.
Yeah. So you almost right on the nose there.
Right. I'm 4 miles off. What can I say? And then I said it's about 120 miles over to Canton from Pittsburgh. So I'm looking at the thing here, and there's Harrisburg and Lancaster and Johnstown. And there's a lot of places where there's some good little college stadiums that I bet, because Pennsylvania is such a football crazy place, you probably could have done those areas and had some fun, or even taken, how many places? There's a bunch of places in Jersey you could have done it. So I don't know. They don't have me running it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, we know all about the schedule.
Yeah, you and I, we can do two things. We can schedule and we can name stadiums.
Yeah, they renamed the FTX Arena.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but it's not the Heat Dome.
Oh,
it's like the Miami Dade Arena. DAE.
That's the county. It's Miami-Dade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. It's hyphenated. It's literally Miami-Dade Arena now.
No,
very creative name. They should have hired you to come up with one.
We would have. Well, they couldn't afford us. Anyway, so,
right. I heard a while ago that a pornographic company tried to pay the NBA to name a stadium, and Adam Silver actually had the sense to turn the money down. Interestingly enough, but I bet you they went knocking in Miami because I think they wanted the Crypto Dome.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would have. The people in South Beach would have had no trouble with that. I'll tell you, Mickey Arson probably would have taken their money. Poor man owns Carnival Cruises, and after the pandemic, I'm quite sure that he would, whatever it takes. Well, remember the stadium down there in Miami prior to getting the Hard Rock was known as something Shark Beer Stadium, which was Jimmy Buffett's brand of. He was I want to call it Land Shark, but it wasn't. But it was, the stadium was that for like a year. And then they're like, no, we can't do this. We have to go find a name that's really kind of a name.
Can't do this anymore.
Can't do this. It's just embarrassing. You're gonna be hosting a Super Bowl here soon. So,
yes.
All right, boys and girls, we're having too much fun now. So we will be back. Mike, come on back tomorrow. We'll be here at 2:00. We will be happy to answer any of your questions. Until then, good to have him back. We'll probably see Sean sometime, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? It'll be interesting. But we'll be here. For Amadeus, I'm Jim. Have a great day, everybody.